Hello and welcome to this episode of the GrowVC Everyone Funding Startups podcast. I'm your host Marcus, and today I'm joined by Claire Munck, the Managing Director of EBAN, and that's the European Business Angel Network. And first of all, I want to thank you, Claire, for being on the podcast episode today. It's a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
So I think first of all, we could start by, if you give a little bit of an introduction to yourself and your background.
Right, so I'm French. I work in Brussels, where I've been living for the last nearly 10 years. I'm a political scientist by background. I've studied in Canada and in Belgium. And I started my career working for an association that was gathering regional economic development agencies. And EBAN was one of the projects I was looking after. And it has grown significantly in the last 8 years, and I've been managing director for the last 5 years of this association.
I think also it would be good to get a short introduction to EBAN, the operations focus, and just kind of back to basics of what the actual network does.
Right. So EBAN is a trade association. We do not have direct contact with entrepreneurs or investors. Let's say we do not support the matchmaking. Just to go back, so business angels, just to clarify who we are talking about, business angels are individuals who invest their own money and their time and experience to the benefit of young entrepreneurs, usually managing innovative businesses. And business angel networks are those structures whose members are primarily early stage investment individuals and who basically are a matching agency between their members, the investors, and the entrepreneurs. So EBAN is the association primarily of business angel networks in Europe. But we have 5 types of members. So originally we had the business angel networks, and then what we call the federations of networks, which are at the national level structures that gather and represent the business angel networks near the national authorities. Some of those do matching as well, but that's quite rare. Then we have early stage venture capital funds, in particular those that invest less than 3 million euros per deal and are looking for deal flow from business angels and want to co-invest with them. We also have a few individual business angels who want to benchmark their practices with other individuals in Europe, and a few associated members. All in all, we have 115 members in 27 countries at the moment. And these 115 members represent around 300 business angel networks out of the 400 that operate today. That's in a nutshell who EBAN is. And then what we do, we have 5 priorities at the moment. The first one is what we call our professional standards. So that means trying to build capacity in the market by looking at exactly what we mean with the business angel network, what we mean with a business angel, because that's a market that has evolved tremendously in the last 10 years, and trying to improve transparency when it comes to performance and activities of business angel networks. The main reason for that is to help our members benchmark their practices better with each other, and also to communicate better to third parties, such as public authorities, in the case of co-investment funds, how well business angel networks perform. The second pillar of our activities is benchmarking, which we do through research, such as mapping the operations of business angel networks across Europe, or looking at the different fiscal incentives business angels can benefit from across Europe. And then events. We have 2 events a year. One is our annual Congress, which took place a few weeks ago in Warsaw. And then our annual Winter University, which is a workshop for business angel network and early stage seed fund managers that will take place in Brussels on the 20th and 21st of October. Our third pillar of activity is lobbying. We are the European voice for the early stage investment market in Europe. And so we have important activities liaising with the European Parliament, the European Commission, the European Investment Fund, and monitoring of course, what goes on at the public policy level. Fourth pillar of activity is our capacity building. We have an EBAN Institute to train business angel network managers and early stage seed fund managers to become better at what they do and exchange their experiences. And last but not least, we help our members to collaborate cross borders. And that can include helping them to identify deals in which our members have already invested in that are looking for a second or third round of early stage financing. So that's to summarize who we are and the 5 pillars of activity at the moment.
What is the European Angel Network and that area, what does that look like at the moment? And you said that you've been managing director for EBAN for the last 5 years and the field has developed significantly. How has that field developed and in what direction?
Well, when EBAN was set up, it was set up in 1999. There were about 50 business angel networks in Europe, and most of those were located in the UK. We have this year identified more than 400 across Europe, so you can imagine the growth. Those networks are now, most European countries have business angel networks. And what we've seen is that there's been a consolidation in such markets as the UK, where the market is quite mature. So we have seen a growing number of networks and then a consolidation, whereas in Eastern or Southern Europe, we see really an exponential growth in the number of business angel networks. So when EBAN was created, for example, maybe 1 or 2 business angel networks in Spain, there's now more than 40. Now, some of them are not active networks. They are in their starting phase, and some others are really doing deals and experienced networks. So it's difficult to talk about the European business angel market because there are large regional and national variations.
Yeah, I guess it comes with Europe, since Europe is such a fragmented market in a way that it naturally follows from that.
Absolutely.
And you also mentioned that some of the things that you work for are transparency in operations and, for example, cross-border collaboration. How do you see that the cross-border collaboration has evolved? Is that becoming more established in today's world already?
Well, absolutely. I think that a few years ago, it was quite rare to talk about cross-border investing, especially for business angels, because as these are individuals that invest their own money, and they still are pretty much local investors. And that's why there's an important regional economic development angle. When you stimulate business angel activity in a region, most of the benefits will find themselves at the regional level. Because people invest in companies that are close to them, where they can participate in board of directors, where they can contribute. And that is still the case. Nevertheless, I think in the last 5 years, what we've seen is clearly a rising interest in cross-border collaboration as companies are becoming European, if not global, as the business angel market has developed, and also for the early stage funds, and people want to know who's doing what in different regions and how to co-invest. So although we see that still today, the large majority of deals that we can track are done locally, regionally, or at the national level, so only under 5% of the deals we can track are done cross-border, the interest is growing. And one of the ways we've been accompanying this trend is helping our members, so within a trusted network of investors, to collaborate on deals in which they have already invested in, looking for second rounds.
All right, let's take a couple of steps back. You just had the annual Congress in Warsaw. Was that about a month ago or so? And I know that our CEO, Valdo Loikkanen, was also there in a panel. I just wanted to kind of pick your brain from that in a few words. That what were the most topical points of discussion and what was generally the feel like at the event?
Well, it was a very exciting event. We had close to 400 participants from 37 countries. And so a great 2 days of conference. I think that the reason why we had invited Valdo is that we have noticed that in the last year, there's been a lot of changes in the early stage investment ecosystem. And there's a lot of new players, both to fund traditional businesses, but also to fund high growth businesses. And certainly we wanted to talk about the crowdfunding topic at the EBAN Congress because clearly, crowdfunding platforms are one of the new players that we've seen in the last months or year in the market. And we wanted to understand how they fit in the early stage investment ecosystem, how they can partner with business angels and early stage VCs, etc. So we had a very good insight from GrowVC. at the panel. And in general, the themes